Pete Buttigieg. I mean, everybody's been talking about the supply chain issue, the supply chain problem that's happening, and what is Biden going to do about the supply chain problem? And I'm going to hit this one time again, and that is a private sector problem. I want you to listen to Buttigieg. He's not going to quite say it that way. No administration is going to say, we don't have control. It's a private sector who runs this stuff. We're going to, but they're coming to beg us. The private sector is coming to beg the government, give us a hand, because we just can't do it by ourselves. Something that when they're making money, they like to tell you, leave us alone. But I want you to listen to Buttigieg, and then we'll take it on the other side, because this is important for Americans to understand. This supply problem is a profit-based problem. They screwed the Americans to keep their profits high and give them more, make them at best uncomfortable. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
I want to move on because you mentioned infrastructure. I want to talk about the supply chain crisis. 2 weeks after the Biden administration announced that key ports would move to 24/7 operations, supply chain backlogs are still really not getting much better. There are persistent truck driver shortages, warehouses are overflowing, an estimated $24 billion worth of goods are stuck waiting to go through U.S. ports. So how are these going to be fixed? And do you expect these persistent delays to continue through the holidays?
Well, we are going to continue to see challenges. The steps that we're taking are making a difference, but think about all of the things that have to happen to get a product to a shelf on time. Fundamentally, it's up to the producers, the shippers, and the retailers, and we're doing everything we can to help them move those goods across infrastructure that's often outdated. Look, we've got demand that's off the charts. The Retail Federation is predicting an all-time record high in terms of sales. We've got supply, which is in some cases actually up, but not up enough to keep up with that demand. And then the biggest thing of all, of course, you have the pandemic. The pandemic is poking holes in supply no matter how good any company or any administration is. We're going to keep working on things like the port issues, smoothing out anything else that is within our control. But the only way we can really put these disruptions behind us is to put the pandemic in the rearview mirror, which is why the president has been leading decisively to do just that.
If you notice, he said, we'll do what we can, and remember that it's the producers, the manufacturers, and the suppliers whose job it is to get this done. I want folks to be clear here. The reason we are having a supply problem has everything to do with the private sector. They are the reasons why they have just-in-time inventory. They are the reasons why they didn't invest in infrastructure. They are the reason that they paid off the government to have lousy ports, lousy infrastructure. It is they who created the atmosphere of failure that we currently see. It is the private sector who is responsible for these failures. Anyone who continues to say, let's just leave it up to the private sector, you're saying, let's just leave the pain of the people up to those who best profit from them. Don't you ever forget that. We want to change that. We have to have better government controlled by we the people who create the regulations that are necessary to prevent those folks who with profits on our backs from being able to screw us year after year, decade after decade. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.